Yeah, Holly just texted and said she'd be running a little bit late. And Pat's supposed to be here too, so. Samples. Bringing extra people. Wow, that microphone is really touchy. Pat? I got your message, but I was on PTO yesterday, so had things to take care of, yeah. You go into the dark hole. She'll be here. She's running late. We're having some technical issues.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board workshop session this morning. Today is Friday, April 19th, 2024. Glad to see everyone here this morning. I'm going to turn it over to Brett Schroeder, and he's going to run through our applications that we'll be hearing or listening to at our public hearing starting at 9 o'clock this morning. So, Brett, we've got a short agenda today.
No. Did you need me to? I got it. Sorry. I am now. Okay. This morning we have first applicant is a restaurant across the street on Main Street. They want to do some right-of-way furniture and some matching furniture in the alley. They're the restaurant right beside the little alley across from the town green. So, and they have some samples. So
Isn't that Jones? Isn't
awesome.
that called Jones Alley?
I think it is Jones Alley. So they'll have some different things, some umbrellas, I believe, and so we've got some. They'll show us some stuff here. So that's that one. We'll look at that, and then the next one is the Garin. The Garin is the Bailey School project. They're coming back with some tweaks, a phasing portion, and some tweaks and some, because we've seen this in the past, but for Eric and Jennifer, we're going to treat this as a new, since it's kind of a full run through. So you guys are welcome to stay for that. Yeah, yes, yeah. So here's just some existing photos, and I'll run them through them pretty quick because they're going to go through their whole project. This will be rebuilds. So if you don't remember, not familiar with the site, it's on Kimball Bridge Road, sort of angled behind the racetrack, and we've got the Even Hotel and a couple other things out there that are along Old Milton. Site plan. So the school building will remain, is my understanding. Don't quote me, but it's my understanding the school building will remain and be rejuvenated. The gymnasium, however, isn't in a condition to remain. So that's the one that they're going to demo and redo. And then we've got some landscaping. And they'll explain their phasing project or phasing portions. And here you can see the old school, Baylor Johnson School in the background there. I really like that, what appears to be a brick pattern on that big facade there. That's I think that really is simple, but yet makes a big statement on that side to me. So if you remember correctly, they've got, let's go back here to the site plan. They've got a parking deck and building at the back. And then they've got the building in the front, and then this will be a new building, and then they're redoing the school and these three buildings over there.
So from the package, it looks like they're just going through what they've changed from last time. Like, they're not going through the school building again because they're not doing anything different than what they told us last time. The parking deck, right? It's the gym. They're tearing the gym. It looks like
tearing the gym down.
Yeah.
I think what we need to do, though, is be sure that what they're leaving existing still fits with what they're doing new, so to speak. So I think we've got to look at what we approved back in 2021 on the existing school building to make sure it fits. So I think like they had some funky colors or funky things going on with it.
Is that?
That's a historic building, so that was under the purview of Historic Preservation Commission. I'm not
We
sure.
didn't-
We looked at it, but I don't know, we didn't have the
Okay.
historic preservation building.
Does
They
that-
didn't exist, yeah.
Does that impact the
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
modifications to where the gymnasium was, or is that?
I think that's all been taken care of.
Okay.
What's been taken care of by council?
This went to council.
Again?
To allow the removal.
Yeah, and were
And
there any,
rebuild, yeah.
were there any conditions?
No.
All right, some other questions.
Yeah,
I had
let me-
too.
yeah.
So we approved back in 2021, we approved the extra elevations and materials, and we approved the landscaping. So we don't need to do landscaping again,
Well, you're going to see landscaping again because it'll have changed a little bit.
okay? So they'll point that out to us, okay? We didn't do site plan,
Don't need to do site plan, that's a council thing, so.
all right, so, okay.
That's
All right,
that.
we'll hear from the applicant then. All right, good. Any questions? Okay. All right, no further questions. The workshop session is hereby adjourned. All right, we got about 20 minutes. Be back here at 9 o'clock to start our public hearing, please. Thank you. But they were changing that building a little bit. I'm just worried that, make sure they fit. Make sure they complement, make sure they complement each other, that's all.
This should work. Oh, yeah, okay.
And that's what, yeah, it was November 2021.
It's up there. Max.
I've got it too, I pulled it up. Let me see.
Maybe hook up to my phone.
In November,
What do you need?
It's not loading.
November 19th.
Is that a snack room?
Looks like it.
Okay, so what are we gonna do here?
We have to be connected to the internet. I don't know how to do that.
Trying to scroll through and accept that. You're good.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board public hearing this morning. Today is Friday, April 19th, 2024. Good morning, welcome. Thank you for being here this morning. Just a gentle reminder for those that have electronic devices, if you'll silence those for us, please, either turn them off or silence them. And our first order of business is roll call. Everybody's here this morning, so appreciate you being here this morning. We don't have a long meeting. All right, if we'll stand, face the flag, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you for that. Next item, anything from staff this morning? Anything?
I just want to make sure all of you are able to access your city email. Okay, thank you.
Yes, although my authentication, I've had to go to a different authentication method, but still works.
As soon as I get an email from the city, I'll let you know.
You've gotten lots. You got one.
Yes.
I was like, is this, I was wondering if that was a pointed question to someone in particular.
Because what I have to do, what I've been doing is after we send you the city email, I send you a personal email, but I'm not going to continue to do that as long as everybody has access to their email. Thank
Pat.
you.
Okay, everybody have access? If not, we need to see our IT folks. Okay? All right,
Although I
very
don't
good.
have to authenticate mine.
You what's
I
that?
don't have to authenticate mine.
You
Am
don't?
I supposed to?
Yeah.
I don't know the process.
I only had to do it once initially.
Red, have I missed anything?
I haven't had to re-authenticate.
You don't respond to my, who's coming.
Yes.
Do you know what that means?
Not on.
All right, I'll explain it. Okay.
And one more
that's-
reminder,
that's
just make
it.
sure you turn your microphones on when you speak, because I can't hear you when, in the minutes if you haven't turned your microphone.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you for that, Ellie. So for those that don't know, anyway, yes, my authentication pops up every time I log on to the website or try to log on to my account through the city. It comes to my phone, and then I have to key in 7 digits to access my email.
How are you accessing it? I mean, I access it through Outlook, and I don't have to.
Yeah, that's what
Wow.
I do.
I've got a,
Yeah. I had to authenticate the first time
Right.
when I added the account. but
I
then
gotta do it
haven't.
every time.
oh my gosh.
If you're doing it from your phone, you will.
No, I do mine from my
Nope,
phone.
mine comes up. It mixes with everything else unless I want to separate it.
Right, same here.
That's weird.
Beautiful.
Anyway, well, it's just to make sure that it's you that's logging on to your account. That's all it is.
It
And
might
so
get
they're-
hacked. I don't know.
It's
They're-
special
Me
treatment
too.
for you because you're the chairman, so you get special
Yeah.
treatment.
Wow. Well,
Security.
I just got a new phone, so that's why that's why things are a little bit, anyway.
I just got one in January.
Richard got a new phone?
I did.
Wow.
After, let's see, I went from an iPhone 7 to an iPhone 15.
Wow.
You missed a few
I
versions
now-
in there.
I now have the newest phone of everybody.
Who is this?
Okay, here we go.
Kramer.
All right. Nothing else from staff? How about anything from board members this morning? Anything from board members? We do have an event coming up. I do know that. May 9th.
Yes, we do. It's Taste of Alpharetta, remember
Yes.
that? And I don't know, I'm not involved in that anymore, so I don't really know what all is happening, other than I do know that there'll be no cash or credit cards accepted on site. So
Wow.
you have
Bring-
to do
bring your cell
everything electronically. So
There's an app.
you'll have to purchase your electronic tickets and things ahead of time. You'll be able to purchase them while you're there, because it's an internet-based thing, but you won't be able to go buy tickets at the booth.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Anything else from,
Also, I'm sorry, I did not give you the sheet that says our next DRB meeting is May 17th.
May 17th? Should be on your calendars. May 17th. Very good. Okay. All right. With that, next item is approve our meeting minutes from last month, the March 15th, 2024 meeting minutes. I assume everybody's had a chance to look at those. And can I have a motion to approve those, please?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
A second?
Okay, a motion to approve the March 15th, 2024 meeting minutes by Mr. Rowan, a second by Mr. Owens. Any comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board meeting minutes of March 15th, 2024, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition, motion passed. Meetings are approved 7-0. Okay, thank you for that. All right, our first order of business or our first application this morning is South Main Kitchen. You're here, come on down, come on up, please. If you'll make sure you speak into the microphone, introduce yourselves this morning, and give us an overview of what we have in our packet today, please.
Good morning, guys. I'm Marcus. This is Carly Bafaro. We own South Main Kitchen. We bought it last year. Just trying to increase some revenue, trying times for restaurants these days. So previously outside, there were old black wooden couches, and they kind of sun-beat, and they didn't look so good. So we got rid of those. We're applying for some tables and chairs. We do know there's got to be a 5-foot passageway through, so we have some samples. Just put the sidewalk cafe out there.
All right, good. Show us the samples, please, or what you've got.
So we were going for composite only because you have, dear Gen Z millennials, lighter to carry, don't have to drag across the floor, doesn't damage the brick on the outside. Also, sitting on black metal in July does get kind of hot, so we talked to a bunch of companies. These do not get anywhere near as hot as the black metal chairs. So our first choice would be the green. We do see a lot of green out there, I think.
Yeah, so if you look at the images, right,
On the screen.
on the screen. Yep, composite composition is our hope for the material. We're going for the green. As you can see in the images up top, this is Smoke Jacks, which is 2 doors down from us. They have the same material. It's a blue composite. Tables are wooden with the black metal bases, black umbrellas. So we think our proposed look fits seamlessly into what Alpharetta already has offered. Next to them, Pure Heat has these gray Adirondack chairs that are also the same composite material. These ones are made out of MDF, I believe. Going further to the side by Taffers and Berkshire Hathaway, we have wicker, multicolored blue. They have orange in there. So next to us, we have Butcher and Brew. They went for the metal black, black on black. So ours is a little bit different, but in keeping with the same kind of aesthetic. So here is what South Main Kitchen looks like right now, very bare at the moment without those things. Here's an image all the way to the right of the table that we would like to have. It has the black metal bases that I know that you guys like to approve. Those would be the planters, not the cacti that are in them, but the planters that are alongside the door. And then I just put the chair out there so that you could see the color against the wall. So last we did a little photoshopping.
Looks good.
Sorry, I did my best.
looks
Not really
great.
my wheelhouse. And then the images that you see on the right are just the swatches for this umbrellas. My goal here would be the pistachio color, which is on the right-hand side, kind of like smack in the middle. Yeah, right there. So still staying within the earthy tones. If that's not acceptable, I would just go over here and go with what we already have in the alleyway, which is our beige.
We also have samples of the table material here.
Yes, and that's also the colorway. These are the swatches. So it's a triple
Composite wood.
color.
Yes, that's composite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have a sunbrella sample, do you, of that pistachio?
No, we weren't
No.
able to get physical swatches from the distributor.
It's funny because each of our monitors is a little different. I'm looking at Eric's and yours is
Mine's
all like.
totally
Are
cash.
you trying to get close to the color of the green on the furniture?
So
Pistachio, or
so
what's the thought?
if you look at all the swatches, the closest earthy tone that wouldn't be clashing with it in the green would be the pistachio, which actually is the color of our banquette inside of our restaurant.
Color of what?
The banquette,
Our
inside of the
banquette
restaurant?
inside of our
The
restaurant.
bench that runs down the wall, the
Okay.
banquette.
It's the seating.
I knew what a banquette was.
It's this big long bench against the wall where people sit.
It's nice, we just put it in, it's really nice.
So you use the same umbrella on the banquette, the exact same?
It is very similar, so
It is-
inside,
it's a crushed velour inside, but it is the same color, yeah, as that.
now currently in the alley, that beige taupey, yeah, that is what currently the umbrellas are that are in the alley.
Yeah, this is already there, next to us in the alley, which has already been approved by all of you.
Yeah, and that's safe. The other one's a little challenging. It could be okay, but without seeing a physical sample, it's kind of tough to know what's that really gonna look like.
Understood?
Is the
Basically what it usually.
the umbrella base and hardware, is it all black?
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, it would match the table base.
yes.
And have you done like a layout of where everything's gonna go?
Yes.
Yeah,
So can you show
so
that to
on
us?
that note, if you look at
Exactly
Butcher
this.
and Brew, it's literally the same exact square footage in the front as ours at South Main Kitchen, so we're just going to copy it.
Yeah, we're just gonna mirror that.
So
there'll
if
be-
you look, there's two on either side of the door. We'll
Okay.
have the same thing, and then there's two on either side of the door, right next to them, in front of them. Mirror image, same
Wow, and
thing.
then so in the tables will have umbrellas in them, right?
Not all of them, because that would be too much. I think I'm having two umbrellas, which will be in the two front ones, because the other tables, they're already shaded. If you look atop where Butcher and Brew is, that same thing runs over South Main Kitchen,
The ones that are close to the building?
closer to the
But
windows.
the ones that are out in the sidewalk area will have
Yes.
the,
Or we can put them on rolling stands and just roll two into the middle of the four on each side.
So you're just gonna have two umbrellas, basically.
Just two umbrellas.
Yeah.
I don't think
So
there's any room for any more.
two tops here, two tops here, then a small space like you saw at Butcher and Brew, and the two four tops here, making sure we leave that 5-foot gap that's
For that
needed.
walkway.
okay.
And so now just this image right here, just so that you understand why I have all of these images, is if the green isn't approved, then my backup would be this beige color, which looks very gold here, but is actually beige. Like,
Which is this chair, just, I couldn't get that color sample in time. So it's this chair in beige, and then the third option would be,
if we can't have the beige, then
the
the
black.
third option would then be the black.
I think the green is.
I like
love
the
the
green. I like the chair too. It looks a lot more
Yes.
substantial.
Very comfortable
I
as
love
well.
that. I love the green, I love the
You just
chair.
made my life very happy.
And
And
the
I guess
color
it-
is good too.
I guess they're heavy enough, like the wind won't.
Yes,
not at
but
all. And it
also
holds-
light enough so that our staff who's gonna have to move them around isn't complaining, because the metal ones are extremely heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
So that was another reason why we had gone for this material rather than metal.
and they hold 300 pounds each.
I imagine at night, like in Butcher and Brew, that you're gonna probably stack them up
Yeah.
near the building, 'cause-
I'm gonna put them inside though.
yeah, because otherwise they
I'm
can
more
move.
anal about the stuff that I
Yeah, we're
keep.
putting them in, I don't wanna stack them outside. The chairs will come inside.
Yeah, okay.
That's the other reason, I mean, also, I don't like the way it looks
Yeah,
in the
because if you
morning.
got a
when you
storm in
drive
the
by
middle
and
of the night, they
everything.
could be in the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't like it. They're gonna go inside.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Before you start that, I need to ask for, are there public comments about this application? Any public comment? No? Okay.
Well, just on the green on the umbrella, would staff be comfortable just double checking that, assuming we approve that, just to make sure it works with the chair? And if not, the fallback would be the other color that,
Yeah, I think we can do that.
yeah.
You just want to make sure that
Mention in the motion?
the umbrella colors complements
Yeah.
the green.
Yeah, exactly, because
Makes sense. All right.
like I said, it's hard to tell on the monitor what we're really looking at.
Okay, very good.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
DRB 240016, I make a motion that we approve the green chair, the planters, the table, and the green umbrellas as presented today. If the green umbrellas don't complement the green chairs, we'll go with the beige umbrellas. Into motion.
Second?
Okay, a motion by Ms. Palmer, a second by Mr. Corkle. Any questions or comments about the motion?
I just have one comment, and that is on the planters and the plants within, Mr. Brett.
Sir?
Is that if the material is not kept alive or it dies or whatever, is there a fallback to where you can't just have an empty planter out there? Like I've seen in other, not saying that you would do that, but I've seen in other places where it just kind of gets ignored. Is there a fallback to
Yeah, there is a.
planter has to
farming-
go away if it's got dead material in it, or?
You can absolutely put that in your, in the motion, that, you know, it can't be empty. Needs to be,
Can't become a
live
gas.
material, no plastic, or whatever. I just, you know, just telling you how it is. It's, you know, it's one of those things that's not a keen thing for my guys, so, you know,
Sure.
if you all see that happening in places, you have to
But
let us know.
I'm sorry I didn't think about it till after
Can you
motion.
just do a friendly amendment or something?
Yeah, I think we should just do a friendly amendment.
Okay. Will you accept a friendly amendment as stated that the plants need to be alive and thriving, or planters need to be removed?
I accept your friendly amendment.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds like you guys have worked that out by yours,
Yeah.
between amongst you, so, okay.
Just now.
Yeah, forget
All
the
right.
rest of y'all.
All right, any other comments or questions about the motion and the friendly amendment that's been attached to it?
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to put one thing because I wasn't.
She can, we're in discussion, so.
No, I don't think you can.
Okay. The only thing that I want to say is that the green chairs, if they're not in stock and I'm not able to get them, I then would like to fall back on the beige chair. Because to have this application in by the 1st, I had to have my quotes in by like February 15th or something. So that was a long time ago. And I don't know what their stock is at the moment. So instead of having to come back and do this again, I'd like to ask for the approval on the beige if the green isn't
Just
available.
vote this one down and we do it. Yeah.
I would appreciate it if you'd,
Well,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just thought of that. I really don't want to have to do this
You know-
again, though.
no, what you could do is actually if you want to, you could withdraw your motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I withdraw my motion.
Okay, so we've taken the motion off the floor, and Pat, I assume Pat agrees to that since you seconded the motion.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so the motion has been
Okay.
removed, it's taken off, so we're back to square one.
All right, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
DRB 240016, I make a motion that we approve the green chairs as presented today. If they are not available, the beige chair that's in the black style that's presented today. The green umbrellas, if they do not match the green chairs, am I going too fast? The beige umbrellas. The black planters, which shall always have plantings in them, they should not be empty. And the tables as presented today. End of motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Palmer, a second by Mr. Corkle. Any questions or comments about the motion? I think we covered all the bases on that one. Very good.
So I guess by default, if you go with the beige chairs, you're going to go with the beige umbrellas.
Yes.
I hope you get the green.
Yep.
Me too.
I like the green.
I hope both colors are available at the same time.
Yes.
So you don't have to. Okay, any other comments or questions? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? No opposition. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I like it.
All right.
I'm sorry?
Yes, you can go. You're good to go.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Well, yes, you're welcome to hang out.
Yeah, please stay.
Okay. Next applicant is the Garin. Come on down, please, or come on up. Oh, they forgot their samples of the tabletops, but that's all right. That's okay. All good. Okay. Good morning. Welcome. Glad you're here this morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Oh, okay.
All right, if you'll make sure you speak into the microphone, introduce yourselves, and then give us an overview of what we have in our packet today, please.
Ready to go? My name is Bruce Farnold, and I am one of the partners in the redevelopment of the Bailey Johnson School. We have with us today our team from ASD Sky, architects, Kimley Horn, civil engineers, and Core landscape designers. The purpose of our presentation today is to give you some background on the project since our original approval in 2021, and to describe to you the both physical driven and market driven changes that are behind our request today. The request is comprised of two elements. One is the market-driven request is to phase the project, and the physical-driven project is to request is to replace the current gym with a new building. We have, through the course of these now, for me, 4 years, remained passionately committed to preserving and bringing forward the legacy of the Bailey Johnson School through this project. The relationships that we have developed with Pat Miller and Charles Grogan and others who are representing and embodying the legacy of the Bailey Johnson School they're deep and they're dimensional. And it's thrilling and motivating to recognize the unique contribution that this project makes in the context of the city. Relative to the process that we have gone through COVID, as I'm sure many of you are aware, at least on a casual basis, the return to work patterns have not settled in as quickly and as consistently as we had all hoped. And so the fact is that our total project is comprised of 20,000 feet of school space, another 27,000 square feet of gym space, plus 120,000 square foot new building, which would be a heavy timber frame building. We are very, very fortunate to have a committed and deep-pocketed capital partner in Crescent Resources, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Sumitomo Forestry based in Tokyo. Sumitomo and Crescent are bringing forward the concept of heavy timber frame construction in the U.S., and that's an essential part of this project that is intended to functionally and visually blend into the historic character of the school and the replacement building for the gym. The simple fact is that tackling the first 47,000 square feet in a phase one it's driven by the fact that we are unable to pre-lease a 120,000 foot building to the extent necessary to secure the capitalization for it. We have to, in effect, seed the project through having activated the historic component in the school campus. The structural reality that we discovered relative to the gym, which was completed 7 years after the school, which opened in 1950, is that it was not only I would say, overvalue engineered at the time. So it was not constructed in the truly stout manner that the school building was, which is in effect a concrete bunker with a lot of really cool mid-century modern windows. The gym building was much less substantial. And as it was converted into classroom use before the school was closed, the interim flooring and structural relationship of the interim floor to the exterior walls turned out to be, flimsy at best, and certainly not capable of carrying a modern office load of furniture and equipment. Furthermore, the foundations were inadequate, and most sort of tragically, under the long-term ownership of Fulton County Schools, the building was severely neglected and literally has holes in the roof and significant water damage. We knew about the water damage when we purchased the site from the school board. The rest of it came as an unfortunate surprise. We spent, I would say, 6 to 8 months and literally hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to solve the structural problem. And what we concluded was that we would have to build a building inside the building to preserve the structure, which is just simply not affordable. And it caused us to turn to our team at ASD Sky to say, all right, we need to create a new structure that in its design, in its footprint, and in its overall formation relative to the mid-century modern school buildings, it will look familiar. And so the process that has unfolded that brings us here involved going back through the city staff and the consulting architect for Alpharetta, as well as spending time one-on-one with our friends at the Historical Commission and the Bailey Johnson Alumni Association. And what we were able to secure through a process of back and forth and some tuning up of the exterior design elements was their full support of the building design that we're going to present to you today. Personally, what I think is truly exciting as a feature of the building is that as you travel up and down Kimball Bridge Road, which many, many people do, and when the bridge reopens, it'll be, back at it. This new building will feel very familiar. It will feel very comfortable, and it will also contain a design element on the eastern elevation that serves as a linkage between the reference back to the historic school, which is the majority of the building's facade elements, as well as this new element which contains common areas and lobbies, elevators, bathrooms. It has a modern wrapper, which uses materials that will be found in the timber frame building. With that, I think I will turn it over to my team.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. We got a great ownership on this team. I want to introduce myself. I'm Alan Crowley. I'm architect with ASD Sky. Danielle Katz is with me as well, architect with ASD Sky. Thank you for letting us be here this morning. Appreciate this opportunity to go through our proposal with you. And I do want to be clear that most of you, I think, have seen this before back in 2021. We did get approval back then. Everything that was approved has gone to the permit. We've got our permit in hand. And then it became clear, as Bruce was saying, on the gym building itself, that it just wasn't feasible to maintain that building and keep it and do what we needed to do there. So this presentation is really just focusing on the gym itself. Everything else is approved and planning to move forward as is, with the caveat of the phasing that Bruce mentioned as well. So just again, to everybody, I think, knows kind of where this is. I don't know if the screens. Say again?
Can you show it to us on the site plan?
Yeah, that's what I was going to try to pull. Is it on now? All right, there we go. So you can see on the site plan, we've got sort of in the bottom left there, the overall, you can see the relationship of our site sort of in the middle, bottom middle there. You can see the relationship to Avalon and to City Center. We're not in the historic district, but we are, relatively close. And again, as you zoom in, you can see on the larger aerial there in the middle, the gym, how it sits on the site in relation to the long linear school building, and then the relationship to the neighborhoods and office parks in the new development north of our parcel as well. And again, just focusing mainly on the gym building here for this presentation.
So back to, could you just
Yep.
back up for a second? So, okay, so the bottom, the existing school building, no change from
No
what we
change.
approved last time.
Correct.
The next one going up, that's the gym.
Correct, the center
And
building.
and that's what we're looking at today.
Correct.
And that's the extent of it.
And that other structure is something that Fulton County, it's a shed structure that Fulton County put out and will be
Was there-
demoed. But again, that was all approved previously.
Is there landscaping changes as well? that we
The
need-
only landscaping changes, and you'll see landscaping in the presentation, is the changes around the building, which, because we're going back with the new building, there are some very minor adjustments there, but
So the landscaping changes
the
are
concept in
around that
general
building.
is the same. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And so here you can see, obviously, the existing gym building, as Bruce mentioned, we spent several months looking at this. We did selective demo. You can see we've cut out some of the CMU, analyzed the structure, and it just became very clear. We've got holes in the roof with water damage, again, as Bruce mentioned, deteriorating structure, the fact that the structure, in reality, it was built as a gym, right? And the fact is they didn't go robust on the gym because it was just a gym. And came to the conclusion, obviously, as Bruce mentioned, that this gym isn't really going to hold up over time. We could add internally everything that we needed to do. We needed to add structure to any of the windows that we were proposing. We had to add structure to, and it also became a question of, okay, once we add all this structure, once we essentially build a building inside for the second floor and everything, once we put that in, is the existing structure going to hold up? Even with shoring and everything, it may end up falling over. So again, it's just unfeasible for that to move forward. And it's important for our group, I want to stress the historic nature of the Bailey Johnson School. And we've been working directly with alumni and making sure that we're maintaining that legacy, that history, and keeping the school building intact. And the role the gym plays is vital to a school. We understand that. And it was important for us to make sure we don't lose that when we demo this building, that we're not, taking this building away and you get to the site and suddenly you're wondering, okay, there used to be a gym here, where did it go? What we wanted to do was maintain the footprint of the gym building so that we always had that history and you could always look back. There was no question, what would the volume of the gym building look like? It's right there. So then from there, we started going back to the concepts, again, the concepts that we had shown previously, this idea of play, right? The school entails children playing, inquisitive nature, bringing back, colors. Is there ways to emphasize colors, geometries, that sort of thing on the exterior of the building, creating these nodes or pocket parks that can bring the campus together. And then looking at the exterior, obviously, And here, again, we've been working closely with city staff. We've worked with Michael Woodman and Kathy Cook. And Michael was kind enough to, during the beginning, during our schematic phase, we actually sent this to Michael to say, hey, Michael, this is what we're thinking. What are your thoughts? Let's take a look at it. And he was right off. He said, hey, you aren't in the historic district, but let's have our city architect look at it. Let's have Andy Anderson take a look at it, and you guys just, bounce some ideas off each other, just so that we make sure that we are maintaining that preservation of the new building to the school building and making sure that it flows together and works well. So Andy was great, had a lot of good suggestions, and you'll see that as we move forward with the design. You can see here this sort of idea of play as well with the windows, sort of bringing pops of color into it, the idea of, again, thinking back to school and the children, the inquisitiveness. How can you sort of incorporate that onto the facade? And then in the top right corner there, you'll see this brick texture on the wall, which is part of the existing gymnasium building. So is there a way that we can incorporate some of that into our design as well? And then from there, just want to kind of start off from an overall global. I'll bring Tyler up real quick from Kimley Horn to talk about our civil strategy with what we're doing.
Good morning, I'm Tyler Rosser with Kimley Horn. I'll give you guys a brief rundown.
Excuse me, can you please speak into the microphone? Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Tyler Rosser. So, Alan's already done a good job of outlining the location of the property and what we're proposing here.
Can you speak a little louder, please?
Yes. We're going to be proposing, I think Bruce also outlined the density of what we were going to be proposing. As far as parking goes, we have already gone through and received a parking variance to reduce the parking down to what the property can sustain. Also basing that off of current ULI studies and the expected use of the parking that today's office users are getting. We have an approved front and side setback variances, as well as, let's see, a proposed an approved building height variance. All of this is within code or have received proposed variances. Everything else, as far as landscaping, stormwater requirements, all those will be met. And in general, it's a very straightforward project, other than the structural problems with the gym. So we are going to, the one difference that we see now between the last time we were before you guys is that we are now phasing the project. It's not all going to be done at once. We are hoping to do the existing school building and replace the gym building up front, get that opened, get that get users in there, and then start construction on phase 2 for the 120,000 new building and parking deck.
Tyler, can you just use your pointer, if it's available, just to show us, okay, the scope or the extent of phase 1, for instance?
Certainly. So on the left side of your screen, you will be able to see a surface parking lot on the north side of the property. On the south side, the existing gym buildings with the minor modifications to improve the use's interior, and the new gym building just north of that. North of that will be the surface parking lot. That will be the temporary parking for the employees of the office building during the first phase. Once that is complete and office is being used and construction starts for phase 2, this parking lot will slowly be decommissioned on the north end as we begin to come in and clear and grade to install our surface pond, or stormwater ponds, parking decks, and the building foundation. And during construction of the parking deck, there will be a shuttle bus that will utilize existing parking to the north and east of the properties with agreements with those property owners to make sure that there is enough parking for the existing tenants during construction. As soon as the parking deck is opened, the office tenants will be able to use that parking deck while the mass timber building is under construction.
So and this may be a question for Bruce, what do you see as the time frame between when phase 1 is completed and phase 2 gets started, construction-wise? And you need to speak into the microphone, please.
The trigger between phase 1 and phase 2 will be driven by the fact that we will have demonstrated to prospective lessees in the office market that this is going to happen. Typically, pre-leasing in the office sector is a very difficult challenge. And going 100% on a 100% speculative basis for a 120,000-foot building is just not financially feasible today. It might have been 10 years ago. So what I would suggest in complete candor is that we will have a leasing office and a marketing center located within the Phase 1 buildings. And we will use our best efforts to pre-lease about a third of the 120,000 square feet to demonstrate to our investors that the economics that we've underwritten in our business plan match what we can deliver from the marketplace.
Okay, and the reason for that is, or the reason for my question is, as I'm assuming for Phase 1, you're going to have to clear the entire site, kind of balance it out, so to speak, and everything. You're putting in this temporary parking lot, which actually doesn't meet our current codes because it doesn't have enough parking islands and things of that nature.
So we don't need to deal with really any of that. The
Why is that?
code handles that. The city council will work with the phasing. What it looks like on a temporary basis isn't part of the design review board's purview. It's the permanent structures that'll be in the end. That's what we need to look
So
at.
then you're saying we're not looking at that temporary parking lot?
No,
We're not?
no,
Okay.
no, we don't need to.
Even though
put-
it could
We're
be
not
there
gonna put permanent structures on temporary parking lot.
even though it could be there for 10 years?
It won't be there for 10 years. It can't. The code won't allow it.
How long?
It'll
can
have to be, I believe it is 24 months, I think, 18 to 24 months, I think is what before they have to be returned to pre-condition. So they would have to be, the gravel would have to come out, they have to replant, reforest the site or whatever thing. Yeah.
Oh, this is a gravel parking lot?
I don't know. I don't know what but it doesn't matter. Gravel, I'm just speaking that it's not going to stay. It won't be there 10 years.
So let me speak to this from a,
It's really
No,
not in
just
their purview,
speak
so
to-
they don't
speak
really
the-
need to.
I'm just going to the phasing. The point of our design efforts in Phase 1, including replacing the gym, is to create truly a unique Class A experience that will break through the clutter of what we know to be true in terms of suburban office space in suburban markets such as Atlanta, such as Alpharetta. The whole thrust of our business case is that this project, by virtue of both of the components, is unique and will support its tenants' business objectives to hire and retain the best and the brightest employees in a very attractive environment. I just want to reiterate again that what brought Sumitomo and Crescent into this deal in the first place is the opportunity to build a very prominent heavy timber building, which will be unique in North Atlanta, in a prominent site. And so the Phase 2 execution is something I'm very excited about.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so essentially today, then, we're just looking at the replacement of the gym building. Nothing else. All right, I'm just trying to understand what our scope is. All right,
So we can probably go through this real quick.
let's go through then let's look,
Yeah.
let's look at the architecture then, yes.
So do we want to skip landscape?
Okay, all right, tell us if are there
There's
changes?
not really.
There's really not any changes. This is really sort of a duplication of what we presented last time.
Okay.
Landscape strategy has remained the same. I think the only deviations will be where the building footprint is slightly different than the existing building.
So you've got some changes. So let's walk through what it's going to be.
Okay, I don't think we have the specifics of that in this plan because the building is sort of a one-to-one replacement. We're continuing the same landscape strategy across the site.
But you just said it was different.
Well, if, the building might jog 1 foot in one direction that it didn't previously, but there's still going to be landscape in those areas, and the site plan just shows the proposed landscape condition.
Okay, so it was my understanding that landscape was changing, so that's not the case. I was told landscaping was changing, that's all I'm asking. If landscaping's not changing, then we don't need to review landscaping
It's not
at all.
changing.
Okay,
All right, we've
heard that it's not changing, so there we go.
Okay,
All right.
let's get to the building then. Let's get to the exterior
Sure,
elevations and
sorry for all that confusion, but,
materials.
so yeah, so now the pretty pictures, the fun part, in my opinion. So you can see here on the screen, we've got in the bottom right corner the existing gym building, sort of the view from Kimball Bridge. And looking towards the gym, you can see, again, working with Andy and trying to maintain that relationship of what the gym looks like, the footprint of the building where it is, a relationship to the school building, and how all that ties together and maintains that look of the historic structure. So you can see in our window system, while it is a storefront window system, we're proposing to use a applied mutton to match the window that is on the school building itself. And again, bringing in that verticality on those window openings to essentially harken back to the idea of a gymnasium building that is a double height space. So, how on that exterior could we express the fact that this used to be a gym, tall, with that tall interior space? And go to the next one. And then as we go down, this is sort of in the parking lot of looking back at the gym building here, you can see Kimball Bridge is off to the right. We do have a stair tower that is pretty prominent out in front of the building, similar to what was going on originally in the building. You can see in the bottom right corner again. And that is where actually that brick pattern comes from, is from that bump out piece on the existing building there. So we brought that back into the original design for that prominent feature of that wall. We are asking that because of the orientation of this gym building, the way it sits on site with Kimball Bridge, as you're coming up Kimball Bridge, you're looking straight at that wall. It's great prominent vantage point for a mural or artwork or something of that nature. So while we're not proposing that here, we are asking that as a placeholder for a future, comeback and once that design is more vetted out for that location. And then you'll start to see in the background where our brick building sort of turns the corner and we have sort of a twist, if you will, on the building, and that becomes our metal panel. That's where Bruce had mentioned previously the additional square footage needed to make the project feasible was put here. This will be the core of the building, so all the restrooms, the elevator, whatnot, main stairwell will be housed in that aspect. It keeps the more historic gym building, I'll call it, the brick portion, more open like the gym was itself, and creates sort of a playful twist on the site, allowing us to bring back that idea of playfulness and inquisitiveness. So you'll start to see in the windows these steel surrounds that highlight certain aspects of vantage points that you can see from inside, looking out those views, highlighting entry points as well. We'll use that strategy for the entry as well. Go to the next one. So then just looking at the overall elevations, so we can see below is the existing gymnasium building elevation and what we're replacing it with. We do have a screen, mechanical screen on the top of the building, just to hide the mechanical. That will match exactly what we've got on the timber frame building going in as well. So it's a corrugated metal panel. The overall mass and height of the building is very similar to what was there before, as you can see. I think we've got a difference of about 4 feet, and that was just so that we could maintain a 14-foot floor to floor to get our 9-foot ceilings in. So there is a slight difference in height, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. And this is, again, looking from Kimball. On the opposite side.
So Alan, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
on your key plan there, obviously if you're, if I'm a worker coming into that space, where's the main entrance? I'm coming from, I guess, the parking lot.
Right. So from the parking lot, it will be all north, as you saw previously.
All right.
We've got what I call the twist, or the metal panel portion of the building is where that core is. So we've got a main entrance in.
Right there. Okay.
Correct, where the mouse was. Can you zoom in just to, is that possible? So, yeah, so you can see the main entrance here. So the top right corner here, this is the parking deck.
Right.
Where the parking deck will sit in the future of phase 2. But the main parking area, obviously here with the main entrance. Okay. And then creating a spine that runs up the back of the building towards the gym, or I mean, towards the school to connect the two.
So, but the main entrance to the building is down right?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, that said, there is also a small parking lot that exists today off of Kimball that we're maintaining. And, you know, we have a pass-through between the school and the gym building there that also has a second level access for that parking lot as well.
And essentially now what we're looking at is the same footprint that we saw 3 years ago, correct?
Exactly. It's the same footprint with we did add this twist piece because previously we were using the exact same, the gym building.
Right.
And now we've added about.
What's the twist piece? Can you outline with the?
It's the rectangle, right there.
Yeah, okay, That's what you're calling the twist
That's
piece.
what I'm calling the twist, the metal panel, where the metal panel comes in.
Got it.
The rest of the building is the footprint of the gym building itself.
Okay.
So with that twist piece, with that metal look, you've kind of gone away from the historic.
Correct.
Look,
so
you can't see that from.
You can't see that from Kimball. It's only visible from what I'll call the back, and really once the parking deck goes in, only be visible from the parking deck. But that's where we felt, and again talking with Andy, that was a great opportunity to bring in the design from the new heavy timber building and the metal panels that are shown on the heavy timber building, and how we can sort of start to merge that so this gym becomes sort of that merge point of the old and the new coming together. And so that's where we've got, you know, the metal panel hitting that historic brick facade, if you will. And we'll show that at the end here with a pretty impactful slide.
Can I ask a quick question about the mutton pattern that you have? You know, when I'm looking at the original versus the new, I see the scale and the proportions are different than the original. In the existing building, did you guys plan to replace those with the same pattern that you have for the gym?
Correct.
So or I call it the gym, the new phase will match what you've already gotten approved.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
And the goal was for that pattern actually matches what's on the school building.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yes. So that's where that pattern came from, as opposed to going back with what was on the
just smaller scale stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
So the metal panels you have on this one, it's the same design that's going to be on the new building.
It's the same metal panel,
where
correct.
The parking is going to be that building.
120.
The heavy timber.
Yeah. The heavy timber building.
The heavy timber.
Okay.
Correct.
I understand.
Keep going.
Okay.
So this is from the parking lot, looking at that entry that we were just talking about, and you can see sort of how that metal panel piece starts to interact with the brick mass. And again, this is sort of the long view against that metal panel. You can see the stair, how we're navigating the site there with the stair. We've got entries, the main entry that we located on the bottom right to the first floor. We've got an entry as well on the second floor that we talked about. And then again, this is that view looking at towards Kimball, right up the road. As you're coming up the road, this will be what you mainly see. And again, that sort of center area on the stair tower piece with the brick that matches what's on the lower portion of the existing gym building. And again, asking for the placeholder of the mural or graphics.
My only thoughts on that are, I like your replicating what was done on the existing building where the brick is, I forgot that there's a term for where you,
Standing proud.
Yeah.
something, yeah. It's almost like a rock climbing kind of thing, but
Right.
I hate to cover that up with a mural then.
Right.
Type thing, so I think I'm kind of cautious about, I like the brickwork that you're doing and not concealing that with a future mural that.
Yeah, we do some pretty amazing things with murals with our graphics department. So I think we can come to you guys with something that you're going to be surprised. And
okay,
but
I kind of agree with your statement because I feel like it really brings out something that was strong character from the original.
Sure.
And it's hard, since the building's being replaced, that's like kind of one of the subtle design features that I really appreciate.
And I think too, I think we're showing that whole facade as part of the graphic, and it may not be the whole facade. Obviously, I think we're just.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have enough space at the bottom portion where the brick are not piercing the face to put something below there, or is that too small?
Well, potentially it may be hidden because it is on a hillside there, but we just have to study that. And look
That's where the guys that are playing basketball, you're going to see those images down there.
You're not too far off. That's something that we've been looking into.
All right, very good. All right.
So then keep going to materials. Again, materials match what we've shown before. We've got the material board over here. But the metal panels that match back to what's being put on the heavy timber building. The brick is going to match the same color and pattern of the school building. And we've got a sample of that as well. Again, showing the mullions or the windows. This shows sort of that more divided light aspect, but we would be going with what we show on our elevations to match the school building. The yellow surrounded windows, you can see sort of a steel surround there, and that shown on that metal panel facade that we showed as well. And then we've got some board form concrete at the stair and some site walls and that sort of thing.
The board form is only on the twisted building, or the.
Correct. Yeah, the board form is just in the site work. To be honest, it's.
Okay.
I don't know that we don't have any exposed concrete on the building itself.
Okay. So I wonder how well does that brick match this?
I was thinking.
It's 1-to-1. It's actually pretty impressive.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was surprised because we were very hesitant on that, but we were able to find one that actually matched.
So you're going to match the brick and the mortar and.
Correct. Yeah. And then site lighting, again, this is just kind of what we had before. Wall sconces, parking lights, that sort of thing. But what I do want to show for sure is this is the overall. So this is how it ends up on site, and you can start to see, how the gym becomes that sort of negotiation piece between the old and the new. You can see the metal panels on the timber building, and how that then can start to relate to what we were doing on the gym building. So that's it.
Have you done a sight line on the?
We have. It didn't. I mean, if you go back to the rendering, you can kind of see it. But we've done a sight line all the way down Kimball Bridge to see if we would see the screens at all. And you can't see them, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we've got a screen there in case, something ever does show.
So the new gym now is essentially going to be a 2-story, or maybe it's 3-story.
It's 3-story.
3-story office.
Correct.
Usage, okay. All right. Can you zoom in on the rendering here a little bit? It looks like you've done you're doing some work with the brick, with some Rolox or some
Correct. Trimming out the windows, if you will, to
right,
to give it some variation there.
okay. And then even on the column, the corner column there, looks like you're trying to offset some of the brick, maybe at the floor line or the window line. To your if you go to the left horizontally,
You're talking about that band right there?
like a band or something, you're doing some banding.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about the building lighting and items like the linear lights that you show and the tape lighting and where that would be?
Sure. Most of that will be on phase 2 on the timber building.
Okay.
In the soffit work, we will have some of the linear lighting, for instance, in the main entry canopy to this building would have some linear lights as well.
And some of that is also indicative of landscape lighting. So where we might have some site benches that we showed previously, like those would get lit with that tape light that's shown.
And is the window system, is it floor to ceiling? Is that what you're looking at?
Correct.
So there's no, it's all going to be clear glass or?
Correct.
Not
We don't
putting
have
in
any
a
spandrel
spandrel.
panels or anything like that.
Okay.
Careful.
There you go. That's what Velcro's for.
That's right.
Okay, any other questions about the new gymnasium now, I guess we'll call it? Okay. All right, is there any public comment about this application this morning? Any public comment? No? Okay. All right. Somebody want to craft a motion or?
Yeah, so, Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 240017, the Garin, motion to approve the building elevation and materials as presented. The motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Mr. Rowan. Any comments or questions about the motion on the floor? There be none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? No opposition. Motion passes 7-0. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're good. And I think congratulations to ASD Sky. I think you won a design award on Saturday, didn't you? At the, two, that's right, you did get 2. At the Georgia Chapter Award ceremony, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, there being no further business, this meeting's hereby adjourned. All right, May 9th, Taste of Alpharetta. Thank you for being here. All right. Yes. Oops.